Hello, welcome to Yoga with me, Mercedes. Today we are going to have a Satya Yoga flow. I chose Satya because for me it's an important thing to visit within ourselves and to also share with other people. So Satya is the Sanskrit word for virtue. This is referring to being truthful in one's thoughts, speech, and action. This is an important concept in Indian religions, and we know that the yoga practice originated in India. So we've got a great connection there. We are going to go ahead and get started with our breath work in our first posture, which is going to be child's pose. So as you come into your child's pose, position yourself in one of two variations. In the first variation, we'll have the knees together, legs together, feet together. As we move forward and bring the torso towards the legs, the arms will be out to the sides. The forehead meets the mat. This option is going to be to release the low back. Now, if at any point the forehead doesn't come all the way down to the mat, you can position a block or a prop there to help you make that connection. The second option for child's pose will be to open the knees the width of the mat, keep the big toes together. Now in this variation, we're focusing on hip opening. The arms come forward, walk the hands forward, and then lower your head down to the mat. Now as you lower yourself down, feel a nice stretch in the back space. In this posture, we're getting spinal flexion. Notice your breath. See if you can relax your arms. And as you inhale, feel your belly pressing to your thighs. Exhale, feel the torso soften. Give yourself time in this grounded posture. Feeling supported and connected. Maybe you rock your forehead from side to side to offer yourself a nice massage. Right at the third eye space, the space of intuition, intellect. Maybe you reach the fingers further in front if you're in that variation. And then relax the arms. Notice where you feel the stretch. Now lengthen the breath. Take a deeper inhalation. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Continue to lengthen the breath in this shape. Allow yourself time to explore a few more rounds of breath. Now on your next inhale, lift your head just enough so that you can look over as you walk one hand off the mat. Take the opposite hand on top and then lower the head and the shoulder down. Feel a nice stretch in the side body. Slowly start to come out. Lift the head. Walk both hands to the center of the mat. And then walk the hands to the other side of the mat. Just enough to where you can stack the second hand on top of the first hand. And then lower the arm and the head down. Now stretching this side of the body. Be careful with your shoulders if you've got any discomfort or limitations there. Walk the hands back to the center of the mat. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your head. Exhale, walk your hands towards your body. Come into a straight spine, lifting the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, positioning the ears above the shoulders and the shoulders above the hips. Bring one hand to your heart center. Bring the other hand to your belly. Feel the connection of the movement with your torso with each breath. Inhale, feel the torso expand. Exhale, feel it soften. Take a few more rounds of this breath connection. Know that if at any time you need to reposition your legs, you're welcome to do that. As you work with your breath in this time, you've got the option to set an intention for truthfulness in your work, in your practice, in your thoughts, and in your actions. Take another deep inhalation to the top of the breath. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Release your hands from your torso, relax your hands down to your thighs. Find your natural and spontaneous breath. Feel the deep breath in. As you exhale, feel the shoulders melting away from the ears. Now, if your eyes are closed, gently start to flutter them open. From your seat, and please remember, if you don't like having your shins over the tops of your feet as your foundation, you're welcome to switch it up to sit on a blanket or a block, or maybe take your legs in a different position. It's more comfortable if you've got knee issues to have your legs straight in front. So we're gonna take a cat-cow breath. As you inhale, open your chest, send it forward. Get extension in the spine. As you exhale, bring your belly button towards your spine for flexion of the spine. Inhale, open your heart, send it forward. Exhale, bring the belly button in, create space between the shoulder blades. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, bring it inwards. We'll take a couple more rounds. Movement following the breath. Last round. Back to center, back to a straight spine. From here, we're going to change the station of our body to a prone position. We're going to come onto our bellies. You can reach your hands forward and come onto your belly that way. Decide which way you want to face so that your head is at the top of the mat. And then when you're ready, take your time to lower your belly down. Now, as you lower your belly down, you can rest onto your forearms for just a moment. We are going to get a shoulder opener on each side. We're going to do one side at a time, starting with the belly down and the head down. Position your palms underneath your shoulders, forehead to the mat. Now from here, press into your right hand so that you can roll onto the left side of your body. Reach your left arm out, palm facing up. Now, for more stability, you can lift your right leg, bend your knee, bring the sole of your right foot down onto the ground as a kickstand. Now, your right hand can stay grounded. This might be enough of a stretch for the left shoulder. If you want to practice going deeper, you can lift that right arm, reach it back, and see if the right fingers interlace with the left. Now this is going to be a much deeper shoulder opener. If you try that and it doesn't feel great, if it feels like too much, we really want to find that truthfulness, honoring our body and what it needs. So then we would bring the right hand back onto the mat. Alternatively, you could open up that right knee. This feels especially good at the space underneath the shoulder blade. This is an area where we hold a lot of stress and tension. So this is a nice option to work that congestion out. Now, if your hands are connected, go ahead and release them. Right hand comes down. Lift that right leg, stack it on top of the left. Slowly and gently roll onto your belly. Bring your forehead to the mat. Bring the left hand under the left shoulder. Now from here, you're going to push into the left hand to roll onto the right side. Right hand comes out, resting on the right shoulder and the right side of your head. Here you can lift that left leg, bend the knee, bring the foot behind you. Find your kickstand. Feel into the right shoulder. Notice if this is enough for you, or if you want to practice taking that left hand back to connect all 10 fingers. Remember, if that's too much, release. Find the truthfulness in this shape. What is your body calling for? What does it need? Now is the time to honor that. Practicing Satya today. Truthfulness in our actions, thoughts, and words. Also in our work and practice. If the hands are interlaced, let them go. We'll meet with the left hand down. If you bent your top knee, lengthen it. And then gently roll onto your belly. Forehead meets the mat. Take a breath here. Now start to push the mat away. Lift your hips. From here, curl your toes. Lift your hips way up high. Coming into a downward facing dog just as a transition so that we can walk our feet to the top of the mat. Slowly finding our way there. Maybe taking a bend in the knees if the hamstrings are tight. Give yourself time to explore this forward fold. A really nice option here is to inhale, bend your knees. And then as you exhale, straighten your legs. Now my palms are connected to the mat. If your palms don't meet the mat, you can come onto fingertips, or you can invite the blocks on to get a little more height. So just take the option that's best supporting you and continue to explore this posture and the different variations and movements you can invite in. I like to bend one knee at a time, and as I bend one knee, I straighten the opposite leg. This feels really good in my body. Now, to go even deeper, as you straighten one leg, you can send that hip back. Deeper stretch for the hip. And then try that on the other side. Maybe you're staying with the first option of inhale, bending the knees, exhale, straightening the legs. Let yourself explore in your body. Sometimes we just need to turn off our mind, get into our body, listen to the truthfulness it's telling us of how it wants to move. And then we honor that. Now transitioning from here, this is where we will invite the blocks onto the mat. Take the blocks to the highest height. Your hands are going to come onto the blocks. We're coming into pyramid pose. You can start by taking the blocks outside of the feet. One foot is going to come back, maybe 3 feet or so. Straighten both legs. When you look down to your feet, make sure that they're hip distance. So rather than having the feet in line with each other, it's as if you're standing on railroad tracks. Both legs are straight. Now, we're going to take a bound pyramid, but you can stay with your hands grounded if this feels better in your body. So for the bound pyramid, the hands come behind the low back. The fingers interlace, keeping the legs straight. The fist will lift up. The head lowers down. Now, if you're trying this and it's too much of a balance pose or too much for your legs, keep your hands on the blocks. And to go deeper, bend the elbows to lower the torso towards the mat. I actually prefer this option better today because my shoulders need a break. So I'm going to honor what my body is asking for. Let the top of the head face down to the mat. Maybe your forearms even come onto the blocks. That's going to be a much deeper stretch for the hamstring. Continue to listen to your body. Now, wherever you are on your next inhale, take a half lift. Release the hands if they met. Exhale, step the right foot in line with the left and go straight into a forward fold. Notice the difference between each leg. Inhale, rise up, half lift. Exhale, step the left foot back, halfway. Maybe 2 or 3 feet, about the same distance that you did on the other side. So remember, we've got our option for our bound pyramid with the fingers interlaced, palms pressing together, fist rising up. Deep stretch for the right hamstring. Or if we want to take a more supported option, hands meet the blocks. And if we want to go deeper, we bend the elbows and we fold the torso towards the legs. Saying hello to our hamstrings. And here, standing in our truth. How can you express your truth right now on the mat? What is your fullest expression without your ego telling you what to do? Check in with yourself. Inhale, come into a half lift. Release the hands if you've grabbed them. Exhale, left foot meets the right. Go straight into a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Remove the blocks off the mat. Exhale, bend your knees deeply so that you can connect your palms to the mat. Now from here, step one foot back, then the other. This is plank position. Gently lower your knees down. As you lower your knees down, position your hips above your knees. Reach your hands forward, fingertips to the top of the mat, and then lower your chest down for puppy pose, also known as melting heart. Anahatasana. Anahata is heart in Sanskrit. Now, as you're doing this, exhale, send your heart down towards the mat. Starting with your forehead down, you can rotate your chin to the mat. If that hurts your neck, come back onto your forehead. Now, if you feel good here, stay like that. If you want to go for a different variation to get deeper into a shoulder stretch, you're going to invite your blocks onto the mat. And then you're going to take your forearms to the blocks and then your elbows. Now, as your elbows come onto the blocks, your palms meet, your head lowers down between the blocks. Much deeper stretch now. Squeezing away stress and tension from the space between the shoulder blades. Know your body. Be truthful with yourself. If this is too deep of a stretch, come out. Two variations. Find the one that your body likes today. Breathe through it. Slide the hands towards the shoulders. Press the hands to the mat. Come into a tabletop position. Looking at your hands, spread your fingers wide. Position your wrist under your shoulders. As you inhale, let your belly lower towards the mat. And as you exhale, lift your back. Continue to move with your breath. Notice that each time you exhale and lift your back, you're getting a nice counter stretch from our puppy pose. Melting heart, Anahatasana. Back to a neutral tabletop position. Bring your feet out to one side so that you can come onto your seat. Now, know that we're going to go for a deeper hip opener. So we'll have different variations. This is called Gomukhasana. What we want to do is position the legs so that the bottom leg slides in. We want to bring the knee in line with the midline rather than having the knee out. So just practice bringing the knee in as much as you can. Make sure the foot is out to the side. Now lift your opposite leg, bring it on top. The goal is to get the knees in line with each other, one knee stacked on top of the other, with the feet out to the sides. Now, I know that this might be really uncomfortable, especially if this is your first time doing it. So a little trick that you can offer yourself is to take a block and sit onto the block. Now, with that lift, the hips are a little higher, and now this is going to be a little more comfortable for the knees. If that's not working for you, then you might explore lengthening your bottom leg, or you could make the distance of the knees a little bit wider. So play around with that. Make sure both hips are grounded on the mat. So you might want to just wiggle from side to side to make sure you feel those hips grounded. Know that you're going to be folding forward. So you might even scooch back a little bit, depending on how your positioning is of your mat, so that you can walk your hands to the space in front of you. Now, the whole time that you're folding forward, please keep the hips down. And please remember that the more you fold, the deeper this stretch is going to be. So you're in control of how far you take this stretch. If at any point your body is in pain, then you're not being truthful with what your body needs. You're trying to meet the ego and what it's telling you. We want to take care of our body today. When your body tells you it's feeling a nice stretch, that's where you want to pause and hang out. Anytime you go past that and you start to feel discomfort, then you're going to work yourself out a little bit. So find that sweet spot. I like to start by bringing my hands in front, then take an inhale breath, lift the crown of the head up. And as you exhale, walk your hands forward. And as you walk your hands forward, keep those hips down. Just finding that place of stretch. You'll be feeling the stretch of the hip of the leg that you have stacked on top. If you've got your bottom leg extended, then you'll feel a stretch at that bottom hamstring. Now come back to your breath. With each exhale, see if you can fold a little deeper. You might even play around with bringing the blocks underneath the forearms. if you need some support. This is one of those postures where we want to take several rounds of breath so that we can really give our hip the opening that it needs, releasing any stuck energy, any stagnation. Continue to soften with each exhale. On your next inhale breath, lift your head up. Find a straight spine. Now I want you to stay here. We're going to incorporate another posture, another movement before we come up to the opposite setup for the legs. So looking at your top leg, support your leg by taking your hands to lift so that you can position the sole of your foot outside of your grounded thigh. Now the knee that you have lifted, take your same side hand behind your hip, making your kickstand, supporting yourself. We're going to come into a seated spinal twist. As you inhale, reach your fingers up. And as you exhale, twist over. So I've got my right leg on top, so I'm twisting to the right. Now I bring my left elbow to my thigh, and then I notice that I can rotate a little deeper. Now I'm looking past my right shoulder, and my left hand might meet my left heel to go even deeper in this spinal twist. Pause and breathe. On your next exhale, gently unwind. Find center. Take a round of breath. Inhale through your nostrils. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Now switch up the legs. Take your time. Now opposite leg grounds down, trying on this side to get that knee centered with the torso. Okay, so rather than the knee out, bring it in. Foot is out to the side. You're not sitting on your foot. Now, the top leg comes above the bottom leg, positioning the knees in line with each other as best you can. Feet are out to the side. We don't want to sit on the feet. If we don't feel both hips grounded, remember to get your block. You can sit on your block this way, or you can sit on your block this way, however feels supported. You don't have to sit on a block. You could also sit on a pillow or a folded up blanket. Just make sure you feel comfortable. Now, if none of that is available in your body today, remember your bottom leg can straighten and extend forward, okay? You're gonna get a stretch at the hamstring, but you're also still gonna get it at the hip. And if you really wanna work with bent knees, but you can't quite get one knee above the other, you can widen this a little bit. Still gonna be a really nice hip stretch. Okay, so by now you probably know which one feels good in your body. I like to bring my hands to my feet, to the arches of my feet, and sometimes I just press down and then lift my hands and then move them to another location. So I'm working my hands along the arches of my feet and I'm providing self-massage. So this is a really nice way to give yourself some love. And then the hands come forward. As you exhale, walk the hands forward. Now, as you're lowering down, realize that this is a different side of your body. This side of the body might feel different than the previous side. So you don't have to match exactly what you did on the other side. Just do what you can to get that stretch, not pain. If you really liked the support of the blocks underneath your forearms, you can come back to that. As you lower down, you'll feel a nice stretch at the hip. But when you give yourself permission to release the head and the neck, you're also going to get a really nice stretch in your back space. Practice softening with each exhale. Give yourself permission to surrender to this pose. No matter how deep and challenging it feels, know that when you expand your breath, you're helping yourself stay in the posture more comfortably and for a longer amount of time. On your next inhale, lift your head. Exhale, walk your hands towards your body. Find a straight spine. You can move the blocks out of the way. Now from here, we're going to use the support of our hands to lift this knee enough to get the sole of the foot onto the mat outside of the thigh. So the leg that you have lifted, the same side hand comes behind the hip. The opposite arm reaches up on an inhale breath. Exhale, twist. Take the elbow to the thigh. See about twisting a little deeper, looking past the shoulder, and then maybe dropping the hand to the heel. Pause and stay here with the breath. We'll gently unwind, rotate the torso to center, and then release the legs. We've got a little cameo today with our friend Remy. Now from here, we're gonna take a wide-legged forward fold. So position yourself onto your mat so that you can comfortably open up your legs. Now, in our wide-legged positioning, we want to make sure that we can feel the hamstrings and the calf muscles connected down to the mat. So anytime there's too much lift happening, then we shorten the distance between the feet. This is going to be a really nice stretch for the inner thighs. You can use props or not. If you feel that you might want to use props, then you can invite your blocks in front of you or a bolster if you have that. This is simply going to provide a nice shelf for your forearms to rest on. Now, some of you might not get that far. You might just bring your hands, and that's okay if the hands are connected to the mat there. So this is our wide-legged forward fold. Start by taking an inhale breath, reaching the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lean forward. Keep the hips connected. And then maybe you start to reach your hands forward, bringing forearms onto the blocks. Now you might notice if you're flexing or pointing your feet, just relax the feet. Let them go wherever they naturally want to. And notice that when you release the feet, you're letting go of a lot of tension. On your next exhale breath, fold a little deeper. Remember, if you get to a point of stretch that's too deep, allow yourself to back out. Finding that sweet spot, finding that truthfulness for what your body needs in your practice today. Here we're practicing exploring our truth. How does it feel to truthfully meet your body where it needs to be? Continue to fold as deeply as you need to. With each round of breath, with each exhale, soften. Feel the stretch. As you feel the stretch, know that you're letting tension go from your physical body, creating space, shifting the energy. Give yourself permission to relax into this shape and to fold deeper. Notice all the parts of your body where you feel a stretch. Notice if you can let go of any tension. Notice if you can lengthen your breath. Breathe, breathe, breathe. On your next inhale, slowly lift your head. Exhale, walk your hands towards your body. And once you find a straight spine, take a full round of breath. Exhale, let it go. Now, from our seated positioning, we are going to change the station of our body to reclined. We will take 2 reclined postures before we come into our final posture of relaxation. We'll want to have both blocks near us. So I'm going to rotate my body so that I can use the length of my mat to bring my back, shoulders, and head down. Now, before I do this, I'm going to position 1 block outside of each hip. In the next posture, we're going to use 1 block, and then the posture after that, we're going to use both. So just have them where your hands can grab onto them. Then take your hands behind your body. You can bend your knees, bringing soles of the feet to the mat if this helps you feel more grounded. You can even scoot your hips closer to your feet to lower one forearm down, then the other, and then connect your back, your shoulders, and your head down to the mat. Now walk your feet towards your glutes so that you're bringing your heels in line with your glutes. Just let your arms rest by your sides. And give yourself time to feel the connection. Your tailbone, back, shoulders, and head. Deepening and expanding the breath. Tucking chin towards the chest, lengthening the back of the neck. Now, take one hand to grab onto a block. The block is going to be positioned at the mid height. However, if that's too much for you, you can take it to the lower height. Block is going to go underneath the sacrum. If you're not sure where that is, find the waistband on your pants, and underneath the seam, the bottom seam of the waistband, that's where the block is going to go. So thinking more towards the glutes, not on the low back. So grab onto your block, press your feet to the mat to lift your hips. Position the block underneath the sacrum. Now hold on to the block. Make sure that you feel stable before you let go. When you let go, if you feel any pinching at your low back, that's an indication for you to wiggle your block around, probably closer towards your glutes. We don't want to feel any pinching. Pinching is likely a sign that a nerve is being compressed, and we really don't want to cause nerve damage. So make sure that you're not feeling that sensation. Now we're lifting the hips. We're taking a supported bridge pose. If you feel that you want to go deeper, hold on to the block, lengthen one leg, bringing the heel down to the mat, and then lengthen the other leg. Now both heels are connected to the mat and the arms can relax. Again, if you need to readjust the block at all, give yourself time to do that. It's really important that you set yourself up safely and comfortably with your props. Now, with both legs extended, you're probably feeling a really nice stretch for the psoas muscle. This is going to help release the low back because the psoas muscle is connecting the femur bones to the low back. So we're going to get a really nice release there. Now, if you notice that this is too much of a stretch, then you're going to want to come back to the option of knees bent or one knee bent at a time. I'm going to time you so that you don't need to think about when to switch up the knees. Just find your breath. Let your entire body melt down onto the block. If this is too much height, remember you can rotate to the lowest height of the block. Now, if you're working with one knee bent at a time, go ahead and switch it up. The leg that was straight, knee bends. The knee that was bent, leg straightens. Maybe you hold on to the block for extra support. Maybe you feel a difference from one side to the other. If at any point you feel discomfort, maybe bend both knees. Know that we're slowly going to start to come out. Go ahead and bend both knees if they're not already. Slide the heels towards the glutes. Inhale, lift the hips up. And exhale, remove the block. Lower slowly from the top of your spine all the way down to your tailbone, one bone at a time. Now, as you lower your entire spine down, heel toe your feet open. So the pinky edges of your feet meet the edges of the mat, and then lower the knees in towards each other, creating space at the low back, getting a nice release there. Maybe you take your hands to your belly, noticing the movement as you breathe. Inhale, belly presses to the hands. Exhale, belly softens. Continue to notice this awareness. Give yourself permission to deepen the breath. And if your hands are on your belly, bring your arms out to the sides. Position the palms facing down. Separate the knees, heel toe the feet closer, bringing the heels in line with the glutes. Now taking a moving bridge, the arms are going to stay anchored down. As you inhale, lift the hips up, press the hips up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, lower from the top of the spine, slowly down to the tailbone. One vertebra at a time. Once you feel the tailbone connected, on your inhale breath, lift the hips up, press them up. Exhale, slowly lower from the top of the spine, back down to the tailbone. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, slowly lower down. This time, keep your back down. Move your knees to the right. Move your knees to the left. Just taking windshield wipers with the legs. Bring the knees to center. Now grab onto both blocks. Now you're going to splay the knees apart from each other, soles of the feet together. Baddha Konasana, bound angle. In this option, take the blocks underneath the thighs to support, to fully let the legs relax. As we open the hips. Let your arms rest out to the sides, or let your hands come onto the belly. Simply breathe. Relax into this shape. Feeling the support of the mat, the blocks. Know that you can also take your palms towards the inner thighs, but be careful not to push or press, just resting the hands there. With each exhale, let go of any tension. With each exhale, send away any stress, anything that's been weighing heavy on you, let it go. Deepen the breath. Know that from here, we'll transition to Shavasana, our restful pose. We'll be in our Shavasana pose for the longest amount of time out of all of the postures in our class today. If you're really enjoying this hip opener and this shape that you're currently in, you can stay like this. If you'd like some different options, you can take the blocks under the knees. Or you can simply send the blocks away, straightening the legs onto the mat, opening the arms by your sides, positioning your physical body in the shape of a star. The important thing is to close your eyes, to bring your gaze inward, and to give yourself full permission to take this time of relaxation and peace. This is a very important time of integration after all of the movement that we've done. For the sake of self-care, let yourself just be without having anything to do or anywhere to go. Just be here now. Focus on lengthening your breath and sinking down into the mat. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Just rest. Sometimes when we first set ourselves up into this relaxation pose, we notice that the mind may be going, we might have some thoughts, we might have trouble fully relaxing the body, the heart, or the mind. So for our Shavasana today, I just want to give you something to think about to help you settle in and be present with yourself. Patanjali was a sage. Some people believe that Patanjali was actually a group of people. And this person or this group of people were the compilers of the Yoga Sutras. The Yoga Sutras are the most translated ancient Indian text in the medieval era. So Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras said, the more we speak our truth, the more truthfulness comes to us. As you lay in your resting pose, explore within yourself. How can you live your truth off the mat once you step out of your physical practice? How can you apply this practice of truth, of Satya, in the rest of your life? How can you incorporate this idea of Satya, truth, virtue, to yourself and to others? Relax your face. Relax your jaw, creating space between your upper and lower teeth. Exhale, relax. Bring awareness to your breath. Practice relaxing all the muscles in your body. Feel gratitude for this time of connection that you have with yourself. This time of noticing your physical body. Noticing any thoughts and emotions that may arise. And allowing yourself this time of practicing detached awareness. Letting things come up as they do. Noticing and observing, but not becoming too attached. Letting whatever arises show itself and then go on its way. Your center point is your breath. Your breath can be a place where you return to find this inner peace and stillness. Breathe through this practice. Detached awareness. We've got one more full minute to enjoy in our relaxation pose. Use this time to continue to connect with yourself. Just a few more rounds of breath. With each inhale, taking in fresh, clean, new air. With each exhale, releasing stale, stagnant energy. With each exhale, releasing anything you might have told yourself that's just not true. And practicing Satya. Last round of breath. Start to invite movement into the physical body by wiggling your fingers and toes, or creating circles with the ankles and wrists. Decide how you want to deepen this movement. Maybe you hug the knees into the chest and wrap your arms around your shins. Maybe you reach your arms overhead and point your toes in the opposite direction to get length, and then exhale, release. Wherever you are, start to find your way over onto one side of your body. Coming onto your side as a transition to make your way back onto your seat. Now, as you come back onto your seat, position yourself in a way that's comfortable for you to be in for our closing breath. Remember, you can elevate your seat by sitting onto a block or a blanket or a pillow. Find comfort in how you're sitting for a few rounds of breath. And then bring your palms together, thumbs to your heart center. As you inhale, feel your chest pressing to your thumbs. As you exhale, feel the chest soften. Now lift your thumbs to your third eye, bringing your thumbs to the space above the eyebrows at the center of the forehead. Take a full round of breath here, representing clarity of thought. And then lower your fingertips towards your lips, taking a full round of breath here, representing clarity of speech. Return the thumbs back to the heart center. Take a full round of breath here, representing clarity of action. And as you move forward today, specifically thinking about the action of Satya, of truthfulness, honoring yourself, speaking and sharing your highest truth, honoring your throat chakra, respecting yourself and others that you come into contact with. Thank you for joining me today and allowing me this time, allowing me to guide you in this time for your practice. Namaste. I hope you all feel peaceful and relaxed within your bodies. If you've had enough, you can go ahead and turn the video off. If you'd like a little extra bonus material, I'd like to offer you our turtle pose option. If you remember back to our practice, midway through our practice, we came into our wide-legged forward fold. I'm going to show you another variation, a way that you can get deeper if you'd like. If you want to try this right now, you can. If you want to save it for another time, you can watch and then think about applying it into your next practice. So starting in the wide-legged forward fold, as we did before, opening up the legs, feet away from each other. In the forward fold, we lean forward. In the turtle pose, we're going to lift our knees so that there's space underneath. With this space, we're going to work our arms under. Let the back of the knees rest on the arms and bring the forehead down to the mat. Now, this variation is much deeper, so your hips will need to be ready. This is one that's best to do near the end of your practice rather than midway or at the beginning. If you're trying this and your forehead doesn't quite move down, that's okay. You can position a block to support yourself. This is a really nice grounded posture to become internal with yourself. And it's also a really great posture if you're ready to challenge yourself and advance a little further. Remember to try this once the hips are open. And when you come out, you're going to want to come out really safely. So you're going to slide the heels to lift the knees, release one arm, release the other, come into a straight spine, and that's it. Thanks for trying it, and thanks for being here today. I'll see you next time.